Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cold Steel Ace podcast. I'm Scott, and I'm here with my co hosts, Dinger and Cameron. Hey, guys. This is,
What's up,
will
Scotty?
hey, this will be our first official episode, and we're going to start off by talking about a couple of different topics from a range of sports, and such will be the theme of continuing podcasts. For now, we're actually just going to be focusing on NFL, baseball, and hockey. But as time continues, we'll probably be looking into doing NBA and maybe some other sports. I don't think anybody here is going to do soccer, but I would.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe like the World Cup.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, yeah, in 4 years, yeah. It's all right. 2026. Anyway, we're going to start off today. Starting talking about the NFL. We're talking about this past week, week 5, as this is being recorded on Tuesday. So week 5 just finished, and we're starting on week 6. So there was a lot of things that happened in week 5 that I think were very important or pivotal. We're going to start off with the demolition of the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. How do the Eagles fans feel about this?
We're used to this. We know the Cowboys suck. So, like, watching them get demolished by a team that's better than them, we already know. Like, they always say, oh, it's our year. It's never your year. Now with Dak
Especially when-
Prescott behind center, that's for sure.
That was going to be my next topic of conversation there, Dak Prescott. But what were you going to say, Cameron?
When Skip Bayless is pissed.
Skip Bayless in shambles. His show is already in shambles. They always talk about the Cowboys.
I know.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, in the media, it's been huge. In a lot of media outlets, that a lot of former players in the NFL are coming out live and saying that Dak Prescott is not him. And I think that in the full honest truth, in my opinion, as a non-Eagles fan, so a non-biased perspective, Dak has really never been a flashy player. He's a game manager type guy. He's not really, he's not Mahomes, he's not Herbert, he's not Burrow, he's not those types of quarterbacks. He's the equivalent of Kirk, really, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys
winning
fully
games.
believe in him. If they can put a team together that's at least always decent, then great. Maybe Dak can manage it. But at this point, when you're getting outplayed by Brock Purdy pretty heavily, and Brock Purdy's, people will argue about his talent level. And, it's pretty bad.
Well, I mean, the Cowboys have the talent already. They have CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. They got a good tight end. They got running backs. They have the defense. The only way that they win the games this year is if their defense is on. And when their defense is not on, they lose, as we saw on Sunday. Their defense was non-existent. As the 49ers scored 42 points. Dak Prescott, I don't think he was ever the guy. He did show flashes, but like you said, I think he's like Kirk Cousins. He'll win you your games that you need him to here and there, but he won't get over the hump of getting to the Super Bowl or anything like that. And with a stacked division like he's in right now, it's harder for him than it is for Kirk. And I think if they just gave Trey Lance a shot, I think they could really turn things around.
Yeah, 2016 was really Dak's best year at this point in time, in truth, with prime Zeke and the way the Cowboys' offense and defense was. I mean, that team was really primed and ready to take Romo pretty far. I fully believe that Romo probably would have went a lot further than the regular Cowboys did with Dak at that point, being a veteran, and Romo, honestly, probably underrated a little bit. But, I mean, at this point, time's going on. The division is so stacked for the NFC East, save for maybe the Giants right now, but, whatever. I mean, the Commanders, watching Howell go out there, I mean, that's a guy who pours his heart out every play. He might not be the best of the best, but man, if you want to talk about heart, that's a guy who plays with heart.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Howell, this is his first full season anyway, right?
Mhm.
I think so.
Yes.
So I mean, he has a lot of learning to do. Dak's been in the league since Carson Wentz.
Yep.
The
And
only
Goff.
difference is, yeah. And the only difference is Carson Wentz. He's on a team right now, but he clinched the 1 seed, and I mean Nick Foles finished it that year. But I mean we saw what Carson Wentz could be, and I mean he got hurt, but that's besides the point. Dak Prescott, he just I don't think he's the guy. I really don't, and the Cowboys have a good team
And look at
if
Goff.
they have the right quarterback. Yeah,
Absolutely. Look at Goff right now. I mean, he
Yeah.
was balling out in the Rams a couple of times. He wasn't the greatest thing in the world in the Rams, but since he's been to the Lions, I mean,
mm-hmm.
if you compare
his
the
career.
Lions' talent to what the Cowboys have, and the Cowboys arguably have better skill position players, arguably, on offense and defense, and especially O-line. But you know, I mean, Goff is just lighting it up. It's not even close,
Yeah.
really, between the two of them. I'd honestly rather have Goff right now.
Oh, easily. Golf would change that Cowboys offense in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I just don't know what
That's
it is
why-
with Dak, man. But
That's why Jerry Jones, he might say that he might trust Dak Prescott, but you don't go after a guy like Trey Lance if you have full trust in your franchise guy that you say. So
Yeah.
honestly, I think it might be time. I mean, maybe not yet. They might obviously are gonna give Dak more shots at it this season, but let's say by week 8, if he's not doing anything still, like why not? If they're on a big losing streak or they might not make the playoffs, give Trey Lance a shot and see what
yeah,
he can do.
they were going over his stats in the Sunday Night Football before the game, and they were talking about his interception ratio to touchdown ratio and all that stuff, and how accurate he had been this season. But after that game, man, he just got absolutely picked apart by San Francisco. And I mean, take a look at the other quarterbacks that San Francisco have faced so far, and the other offenses, that have played San Francisco's defense, and I mean, they really. Even the talent level on the other offenses are not as high as the Cowboys. The Cowboys are still, people are still saying, media is still saying that Cowboys are definitely on par with the Niners at this point, which I don't believe, but that's beside the point.
I think the 49ers are the best team in the league right now.
I do too, and I think the Eagles are the only team left at this point in the NFC that they face this year that will be able to beat them. And
I think so,
if
but
everybody's healthy.
the Eagles secondary is scary.
It is.
Very
It is.
thin. And if they don't fix that, they're not going far.
You're right.
Sorry.
The Niners are just built right now to win. They have so many skill position players that are paid very well because they have a quarterback who's making like less than $1 million a year, basically,
Yeah,
or something ridiculous.
Practice squad guy.
And I mean, good for Purdy, but this is really the
Yeah.
Niners' best shot while he's under his contract.
Yup, and on top of that, I mean, we haven't seen Brock Purdy play from behind yet, so we don't know how his catch-up game is yet. So, I mean, I'm not giving him all his flowers yet, but he's been doing good this year. And if he can make a comeback win, like down 2 touchdowns, he has a shot of being the MVP this year, I think. But right now, I know he's in talks now. I still wouldn't even give him that yet.
And it's hard to evaluate his talent, his real talent, especially given the skill position players. I mean, you have the best fullback, one of the best running
Best
backs,
running
if
back.
not the best running back. 2 top talent wide receivers, a top talent tight end. I mean, top 3 tight end probably. The best left tackle in the league. Plus, our O line's also very good in general. And then their defense, same concept. Nick Bosa's one of the best defensive players on the line, and Fred Warner's a great linebacker. And you keep naming names, but they have a really talented team. And it's
Yeah.
really hard to evaluate Purdy when all he has to do truly is give it the ball to his best players,
True.
which
Yeah, I mean,
almost all of them
we'll
are
wait and
the
see what
best
happens.
players.
I think the next 2 weeks they will win. I forget exactly who they're playing, but the 3rd week they verse the Bengals. So I think that Bengals defense can give them a little trouble. And don't let Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase get hot like they did this past Sunday, because
Yeah.
if they start getting in a rhythm, it's gonna be hard to stop them.
I agree here. We'll swing back around from the best team, or we'll swing away from the best team and talk about one of the worst teams in the league, the Denver Broncos. Man, I do not know what they're doing, but one has to wonder, perhaps they're tanking? I mean, Sean Payton probably
but
doesn't want Russell Wilson, in truth. Probably never really did, but this was his best shot probably at getting back into coaching.
yeah, but you also gotta look at it like if they're tanking, there's no way they're getting Caleb Williams. No one's gonna take Russell Wilson's contract, right?
No, probably not. Definitely not, rather.
So I feel like they would just be going after Marvin Harrison, which will still elevate their offense either way.
But if you've looked at Russell statistically this season when compared up to Patrick Mahomes, I wish I had this graphic. I'll probably throw it up while, in the post for editing. Their stats this season are actually similar. They're performing on the same level. Even though it doesn't look like it, they are actually statistically performing on the same level, which is honestly not good for Mahomes, but maybe a lot better than we thought for Russell. It's just
Yeah,
hard to say
well,
what's going wrong there in Denver.
I think a lot, honestly. I mean, they're banged up, and I don't know, man. Last year they were supposed to be Super Bowl favorites, and they fell off the face of the earth and didn't even make the playoffs. This year, they thought maybe it's different this time. No, they're what 1-4 or something,
Yep, they
I
are.
think. So, and their only win was against the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
So, like, I don't know what's going on over there, but something's gonna have to change, and they already changed head coaching. So,
My
they're gonna have
guess
to
is
figure
it's going to be
something
a
out.
complete teardown eventually of the rest
Yeah,
of the
that's
coaching
what
staff.
actually that's what players were saying. It was what I saw I think today on Twitter. They already traded Randy Gregory, and like they're just automatically assuming more people are gonna be getting traded.
Yeah, well, Broncos suck. Hopefully they can figure it out. How about the Bills though? Interesting loss on Sunday morning in
Sunday, yeah.
Germany. I think right they're in Germany.
No, they were in London still.
Were they? Okay.
I think so. Yeah. Either way, Jacksonville's been there for 2 weeks, so they're used to the time over there. The Bills were there a week, so I don't think they were ready for a time change. I think that was more jet lag than anything. But the Bills' defense just took big major hits. They already lost their cornerback one. They lost their linebacker. They're losing people left and right over there. So they're gonna have to be like a Kansas City Chiefs and just score 40 points on teams to even win.
And it might, it's looking not very good for Mr. Stephon Diggs over there throwing a big old tantrum. Doesn't look like Josh Allen was too happy with that either. A little trouble in paradise.
I don't know, man. That stuff's been going on since last year too, and everybody thought they were wanting to get out, but then they said no. So I don't know. I mean, hey, there's always room. They can always swap him and Devontae Adams if they need to.
Oh man, yeah, that's another sad situation for Mr. Adams
Yeah.
there. Yikes. But we'll move on a little bit here. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at some of the power rankings, just a choice amount of the power rankings. Maybe not all of them, but this time around I have power rankings straight from NFL.com. Next time around, I'll try to find a couple more sources for power rankings, but we'll just go with what NFL.com has for the time being. Usually these power rankings are on crack though from NFL, but that's
Yeah.
all right. Gives us more to talk about. I think the two obvious picks right here that I'm going to read off are obvious and don't really need changing. Number 1 and number 2, San Francisco and Philly.
Yeah.
Really, no debate on that. They
I mean,
are
they're
the
both
two best teams in
undefeated, so,
football.
yeah.
But then we look at 3 and 4, and we got Kansas City and Miami. Do we think this is accurate?
I think Kansas City will be fine. Last year and even the year before, I think they started off slow. I mean, even then, they're 4-1. So like, they're not that. They're obviously playing good. I mean, yes, they've been getting help from the refs late in the game the past 2 weeks, I think. But besides that, I mean, one flag or one play doesn't determine a game like that. So I think they'll be all right. I honestly, somebody I was talking to earlier today saying that it kind of just looks like Patrick Mahomes is bored and he's just trying to get through the season to get to the playoffs. So, I mean, hey, he could
Yeah.
be right. Let's
Brady
see what
mentality
happens.
right there.
Yeah.
We're gonna move a little bit outside of the top 10 here, just a tad bit. We have the Buccaneers sitting just outside top 10 at rank 11. They're currently sitting over the Browns and the Chargers on this list. They did have a bye week last week, same with the Chargers. But are the Buccaneers truly on the outside here?
I think so. I mean, didn't they just lose Mike Evans for a couple weeks or something?
That I'm not sure of.
I know he got hurt, so I mean, I don't know. Is Baker Mayfield really going to keep this up all season? Is the question.
Mm.
I mean, he versed Eagles and he got destroyed. You know, like I just think everybody's on the high horse with the Bucks right now because of what they've been doing, and Baker Mayfield, he was on the Browns and he got traded and then he kind of like fell out and then like he came back to the Rams, won a game or a couple there, fell out again, and then now he's in Tampa Bay, won the starting spot, and now they're trying to get him back. But I mean, that's what I think it is. I think it's just the Baker Mayfield story is what's making everybody think that the Bucks are this team again. I don't think they are though.
Yeah. I also think that the Chargers are a little bit better than the Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, I would not disagree with that statement. You know, on paper, Herbert, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler when healthy. I mean, that's prime talent right there. I don't think the Bucks have the same level of talent at quarterback and running back, but Mike Evans
No.
arguably probably is on par with Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
Maybe even better. I don't know, but that would be a different conversation.
Yeah.
But I would tend to agree with that. They should be ranked similarly, but I would probably put Chargers ahead of Tampa Bay. But moving down a little bit, I'm gonna take a focus, change focus, and look at these three teams here: 15, 16, and 17. 15 we have the Bengals. 16 we have the Falcons, and 17 we have the Colts. So I think that's really interesting. You know, the Bengals are starting to get hot, and I think this is a fair spot for the Bengals at 15.
Yes.
All right, Joe's coming off injury. T. Higgins also has a little bit of a thing going on right now, but Jamar Chase is fine. He looks like a stud as usual. I think that as Burrow gets healthy, he's going to become a stud. They'll shoot up in the power rankings. I think it's inevitable. That's just the type of quarterback
yeah.
Joe is.
Yeah, I think they'll reach top 10 in a couple weeks.
It's an odd placement given the other two. I really don't think Atlanta is 16. I've been watching the games. I know that they have won. I see the talent with Bijan, but man, I don't know. I'm super unsure about that.
Well, last week they finally got my boy Kyle Pitts in the play now. He had almost 100 yards receiving last week, and they're finally figuring out how to use him. But today they also just traded for Van Jefferson from the Rams, I think. So now they added more firepower on the wide receiver core. I think they're fine where they are. They're just an average team this season. They're not terrible. They're not great. They're kind of rebuilding at the same sense. But I think Bijan is really pushing that rating up even more because he's almost like a Christian McCaffrey. So.
Yeah, I think at 17, the Colts are above the Jets, the Packers, and the Steelers. And then we'll skip down a little bit more, but I think that's a fair rating, and honestly, it really shouldn't be higher. We're 3-2, but with the Colts, we're now going to have to rely on Gardner Minshew for at least a month.
Minshew Mania,
Minshew
baby.
Mania. And look, I mean, I've always been a relative decent fan of Minshew. I watched him play on the Jags, and I never thought that he was god-awful. He's definitely a high-end backup, probably borderline starter. I mean, if he was on the Falcons, he'd be starting, in my opinion, for sure over Ritter. But, it's interesting because you don't truly know how he's going to play in this offense with the Colts. Sure, it's second year in Steichen's offense. He ran it in Philly with Steichen. Yeah, but we don't exactly have crazy talent. I mean, Pittman's a good wide receiver, but he's not transcendent. Josh Downs is a rookie. He looks better than Pierce, which unfortunately looks like a miss. Moss and JT look like they're going to be a great duo as long as JT gets back. But, I mean, outside of that, we don't have any premier tight ends. None of them are good at blocking besides Granson. And it's just super questionable because this offense is really built for a Jalen Hurts type quarterback, which Richardson really was Jalen Hurts type quarterback. So,
And, well, Minshew Mania reminds me of Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's what he is. You don't know. He's going to play lights out one game and then play like he never played in the NFL the next.
Yeah, and he's undefeated on the games he took over for. But, he didn't really start them except for the one versus the Ravens, and that was a mess of a game. So it's tough, that's a tough rating, but 17 is probably fair. Will it go down? Possibly. Will it go up? I don't know. I think the bigger question is, in this month span that AR's out, at least a month, they're calling it, what happens if Minshew ends up going, 4-0, and we end up 7-2? Do you put AR back in? Do you let AR sit? Do you...
Yeah, I mean, if you guys go 4-0 this month with Minshew Mania, that just gives you guys more time to sit AR, to sit Richardson, But if you guys split, then it's like, okay, we might need him now. Because, we're on week 5, 4 weeks from now. That's week 9. We're basically halfway through the season. So, depending on how the division standings are and whatnot, I think if you guys go 4-0, I think you keep him in for a couple weeks to let Richardson really get fully healthy before going in. Because you don't want him getting hurt. You don't want him to be another, Andrew Luck type of quarterback, because he has the ceiling of being a top 10, maybe top 5 quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
But if he keeps on getting hurt, he ain't ever going to see that.
Zach Hicks, which is a reporter for The Athletic, he usually covers the Colts a lot. He did publish something on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, putting a bit of perspective on the injuries that Anthony Richardson has compared to a couple of successful quarterbacks in this league. One of them was Josh Allen's perspective or comparison, which has been a big favorite comparison for a lot of people, just because Allen was very raw when he came in as well. But Allen did have an injury his rookie year that affected his elbow, kept him out for a month. That injury didn't really keep him out. But another one I think that was really important is Stafford. And I didn't realize this because Stafford came in the league when we were about 9 years old. So, that's about over a decade ago well over a decade ago for us.
Yeah.
But Stafford did miss 13 of his 32 starts in the NFL, so in 2 seasons. Sorry, he only started 13 of 32, rather, in 2 seasons, due to multiple various injuries. Which, I mean, I, again, didn't know that because, one, I was too young, and I didn't really care about the Lions. But, 2, I mean, that's some great perspective because Stafford has gone on to do great things, and he's been injured a lot in his career. But he's played through a lot of injuries too. But that is some great perspective for him because, he's arguably a top quarterback when fully healthy and has his pieces. And even now, I mean, he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Granted, they had a super team, but still won the Super Bowl.
Man, win's a win.
Win's a win. And, injuries might not be the end all be all, but this year, he is not getting Offensive Rookie of the Year. The team that's ranked 21 has the quarterback that's probably getting Offensive Rookie of the Year, and that's Mr. C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing good. I think so.
Great.
I think the Texans really hit on that pick for right now. But I'm still sticking with my gut, and I still think Anthony Richardson would be the best one in that draft class. But I mean, the Texans, they don't have first round pick this upcoming season, so they might be struggling a little bit.
And they need it. I mean, they really need that pick.
Hmm.
Their O line is horrendous right now, but man, I think everybody did know going into the draft that Bryce Young was too small, and if he went to the wrong team, probably wouldn't be ready because of his size and whatnot. And that Stroud was the most NFL ready just due to his size and the way he plays, his accuracy, etc. And then Richardson was the project player. But
Yeah.
I mean, and what we're seeing is the true results of that. Had Richardson not got hurt though, we're probably looking at a way different story. I mean, his stat line through all the games he's played is
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Incredible.
It's incredible. It's
He's
Cam
what
Newton
he,
2
yeah,
2.0.
he's what the NFL wants now. They want an improvising quarterback more than anything now.
Yeah.
And he's that perfect fit. He can run the read options. He can sit in the pocket and throw, and then he can also escape the pressure in the pocket and run for 15, 20 yards, no problem.
We'll skip down a little bit here on the list, and we'll go down to 27, 28, and 29. For these three picks, we have the Cards, the Broncos at 28, and Patriots at 29. I'll tell you what, I had to go rewatch that Patriots game to really understand why they're at 29, but they deserve it. It's really unfortunate, but since Brady's left, Patriots just haven't been the same.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tom Brady elevated that offense. He could turn anybody into a top receiver in the league. He could make one of us a top receiver in the NFL.
Yeah.
Mac Jones can't do that. He needs more. He needs help, and I don't think Mac Jones is the guy. I'm sorry. I never liked him coming out of college. I didn't think it was a good replacement. He is a dirty player, but that's a different subject. I just think if they move on from Mac Jones and get somebody that will fit that offense better and play, like elevate players around them, they'll be fine. And I don't think Mac Jones will ever do that.
This is a hypothetical, but I mean, at this point in time, you have to consider maybe they look at tanking. They won't outwardly say it, but maybe they do consider it. But Caleb Williams with Bill Belichick.
Yeah. That would be insane.
I mean, you have to wonder. I mean, some of their woes are coming from Bill's drafting. They don't even have wide receiver 1, dude. They have Kendrick Bourne,
No.
right? Is that his name? Kendrick Bourne? Wide receiver 3 on most teams. I mean, they also got Juju, whose knee exploded or is going to at some point.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
mean, you know, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there, but I think Bill's smoking too much of the hidden gem pack. Trying to recreate that Brady magic.
I think he's just old now, man. I think he's losing his touch. He's getting old. He needs to retire, move on. You won 6 Super Bowls, man. Like,
Yeah,
let it go.
yeah. And you hate to say it. You hate to say it, and you hate to see it. But
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he gets Caleb Williams, and maybe they turn it around. But I'll tell you, Caleb Williams ain't going to do too well throwing to Kendrick Bourne. So
Well, he
I
has
mean-
certain teams he wants. So
yeah, we'll see. But moving down into the no shocker categories here. The Bears, the Giants, and the Panthers. 30, 31, 32. How sad.
well, honestly, I thought the Giants were gonna be better this year than what they are. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it. They had a decent defense on paper. Their offense isn't too bad. I mean, obviously, Barkley still carries them, as I said last year and this offseason when Barkley was sitting out and everybody was complaining. It's like he has a right for that because he carries that offense. Without him, there's no offense, and we see it. Without him, there's nobody. No one's
Yep.
doing anything. So
Matt Burita really isn't it?
no,
Ooh, shocker.
nope. Yeah, it's like Barkley is that offense. They paid Danny Dimes way too much, and now they're paying for it.
It really sucks for Bryce Young though at 32 there. I mean, I just I can't say that I don't really know what's going on. I kind of know what's going on, but I think everybody has to understand that Mr. Frank Reich is not an NFL head coach candidate. He's a great offensive coordinator. He's a great guy to get your quarterback in shape and prepared for the season, and that's it. I mean, he did great with Phillip Rivers. He did great helping Andrew Luck. He did great helping Carson Wentz even. He had a great season.
Yeah.
As a head coach.
Hey, man.
He's not
I'll
there.
take Frank Wright back any day of the week as my offensive coordinator.
Absolutely. It's like
But-
Nathaniel Hackett, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a great offensive coordinator. Just
Well,
not a head coach.
yeah. I mean, there's some guys out there that can elevate their coaching game to be the head coach, like as we see Nick Sirianni. And then you got guys like Frank Wright who show promise at times, but then falls off again. He's not consistent enough as a coach, a head coach, I should say.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's times when Frank's like arguably defendable in some plays, and it was like that throughout most of his career with the Colts. Oh, we don't really win that game unless Frank, called that aggressive play and stuff like that. And then there's the flip side. I can't believe Frank called that freaking play. What an idiot, dude. And that's the tale of Frank, unfortunately. But again, if you need your quarterback to play the best, I trust nobody but Frank.
Yep, exactly.
And he's worked with the best quarterbacks to ever
Yeah,
play the game,
I mean-
arguably.
I'll also give them some time in Carolina. They're a full rebuild now.
Yeah.
So,
I think Frank does deserve a bit of a shot in this,
yeah.
at least one more shot. But if he does fail in Carolina, he's probably
I
not
mean, I
never getting
think-
another head coaching gig.
I think anybody will sign him as offensive coordinator.
Oh,
If
yeah.
the Chiefs get a hold of him as offensive coordinator, though, bro, it's a wrap. Might as well.
I'd argue the Eagles probably want him back as an offensive coordinator, to be honest, compared to what you have right now, at least.
Yeah, our play calling is atrocious. I mean, it got better. This is Brian Johnson's third year in the NFL, so I mean,
Well,
he's
I
getting
wouldn't
used to
let
it.
I wouldn't let Frank call the plays. I'd be letting Sirianni call the plays.
Yeah, but Sirianni's not a good play caller. That's why we had
Oh,
Shane call him. Yeah.
Okay, I thought that Sirianni was doing really well because when he left the Colts, he was doing play calling a little bit, just a little bit. So I thought he was doing well over the Eagles.
Yeah.
But thank you for that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was calling almost like what Brian Johnson's doing now. He was calling like weird plays at weird times that should have never been called and wouldn't be working. And actually, Jonathan Gannon said this. They were all sitting in a room and he was trying to figure out what to do. And Jonathan Gannon said, "Why don't you just give it to Shane and let him be? He's the offensive coordinator. Let him call it. That's what he's here for." So they did that, and then ever since then, that's when our offense went through the roof.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's exciting news for me. But no, do you
I
know?
That's why I love the Colts, what they have for offense right now.
I love Shane right now. He's a great upgrade from Frank. But do we know? Does Peterson always call the plays? Did he always call the plays, or did Frank call any when they were on the Eagles
Doug
together?
Peterson?
Yeah. Because I believe that
I-
Press Taylor is calling plays right now for the Jags.
I want to say Frank Wright called most of the plays, but I want to say they both did in a sense. Like, I think they both came together during the week, came up with a game plan, and I think they would basically shoot 2 plays in. Like, I feel like Frank would tell him what to run to an extent and be like, "Look, I think this will work better here because this is why." And like Doug was like, "Oh yeah, that would work." Or if he didn't like it, I think he would call something else. But I want to say that. But you also got to think that year when we won the Super Bowl, if Frank Wright was calling the plays, no one was beating us, no matter who was behind center that year for some reason. I don't know why. We were just on fire. It was insane. But
I would probably argue, with the way things went with the Colts, the team, Philly as a team, tends to have a great mentality and great leadership group and great personality, and usually is always great at getting guys together and forming these sense of brotherhood and accountability. But in the Colts, Frank really was never like that. It's odd to say that, but like Frank was never a hype man. He was never holding people super accountable. He was never this and that.
Yeah.
When Jeff Saturday came in, our O-line immediately started playing better. Why? Because he's an all-pro offensive lineman. But Jeff Saturday is one of those guys that played with Peyton. He's a tough man to
Yeah.
play for, tough man to play with.
Mhm.
Frank's a soft guy. He is.
Yeah, well, I think he got that from Doug Peterson. That's what I call the Doug Peterson effect.
Yeah.
Because after the Super Bowl, Doug Peterson kind of fell soft, I felt like, and the whole here's ice cream after every practice type thing. I don't like that. So I think that's what I call the Doug Peterson effect, because I feel like it just
Yeah.
teams get softer than what they were.
Well, I agree with you. In the interest of time, though, we're going to move on. We're going to move into baseball, which is happening right now, I believe, with a couple of teams and then some playing soon. But Dinger, I'm going to hand it over to you. You're the baseball guy. Dinger and Cameron, baseball guys. So let's talk about it. What's going on here? What's it looking like as we're in the middle of playoffs? What are we thinking is happening?
Well, I think the Astros are back in action. The Diamondbacks are a scary team. I think they're the Phillies from last year. They didn't come in and just win. They won 2 games already. I think they won 2 games already, or they won 3. I think it's just 2. Yeah, they just won 2. Now the Orioles, that is scary. I was not expecting them to go down 2-0 in that series.
Was anybody really?
I
Not even Orioles
don't know. I
fans?
mean, the Rangers aren't no pushback. They're no pushover, I should say. Now, yesterday that Phillies game was atrocious. So sad. Phillies should be up 2-0 going into tomorrow night. But hopefully the Orioles pull it out. I kind of want more playoff baseball with them.
Yeah.
I mean, they finally started cleaning it up last game they played on Sunday. They almost came back. But from my understanding, because I don't really pay attention to the Orioles too much like that. But a guy that I follow on Twitter and watch all the time, he is a big Orioles fan, and he thinks that the Orioles not bringing up Cole Irvin for the playoff roster is killing them, and that is why. So we'll see what happens. Baseball, it can go any way. Like, that's why I love the sport. One swing of the bat can change the game, and if anybody watched the Phillies game last night, you saw that they had 2 home runs, changed the game, and they won. The Braves won. So the Astros also won today, so now they are up 2-1 against the Twins. So if they win, I think every team is playing tomorrow. At some point, I can't say every team. If the Rangers win tonight, it's over. But if they don't, then they play again tomorrow. Yeah, every team would play tomorrow. If the Orioles win tonight. Cameron, what are you thinking?
I think really this is just Philly's way of just pushing themselves out there. Sure, they lost today's game, but look how far they got. Not many people might have thought that they would make it this far, and they got two home games. So I think the Phillies crowd will bring them to spirit. Bring home the win. Hopefully.
Yeah, hoping.
Yeah.
So I haven't been keeping too much of the series. So you guys started in the Braves Stadium for the first 2
yeah.
games, or?
Yep, because
Yep.
so they changed this is a whole argument actually right now in the baseball community. A couple years ago, they changed the playoff format. So it used to be 2 wild card teams, they'll play 1 game, whoever won move on. Now it's 3 wild card teams. There's 4 wild card or 2 wild card games, I think, but it goes to best of 3. So, and after that, then they go up and play whoever else. But since the Braves had the 1 seed, they had home field advantage. So we played there first for 2 games. Now, if the Phillies win, and if Phillies win the series and the Diamondbacks win the series, then the Phillies would have home field advantage because they're a higher seed.
All right, cool, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the outlook for the game tonight? I'm sure we're all going to be watching this Rangers Orioles. Now I'm thinking, homer opinion because I love the Orioles. I do think we actually do get it together here and pull a win out. Do I think we can win 2 in a row? I don't know, but I do think we win tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you
Have
guys
to.
are in Texas too,
Mm-hmm.
so
I mean, this
I
is
think,
it.
yeah, win or go home. So you gotta put everything out on the line now.
And we have the
Number one
talent to
seed.
do it. I mean, we do have
Yeah.
talented positional players.
Yeah, I
But-
mean, they might be young, but they're still talented enough to turn a thing around. Now, if you guys win, the momentum will start shifting to the Orioles. That's what I'm scared about this upcoming game tomorrow with the Phillies. Is the Phillies were up 4-0. I know they lost a 4-0 game last year in the NLCS against the Padres, but this Braves team is the best team in baseball, and we just let them get hot. So if you let certain teams get hot, it's going to change the outcome of the series. The Rangers are on fire right now, but if the Orioles can stop them tonight, they might start sizzling down. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Orioles win.
Right, and the Orioles, again, same concept as the Braves, one of the best teams, record-wise, of course, in the MLB. So, I mean,
Yeah.
we are up there for a reason. We didn't beat trash teams. We did face some hard competition this year. I mean, this
Yeah.
isn't our first time facing the Rangers. So, we'll see.
Cameron, how do you feel about the Orioles being a 1 seed as you're a Red Sox fan?
Horrible.
It's been a
I
while.
feel like it's gonna be a decade to come.
Great point. Last time the
I don't
Orioles
want
were in the
that.
playoffs was like 7 years ago.
What? Yeah. And now it's gonna be 7 years for the Red Sox.
Hey, maybe. I don't know. Fingers crossed for me. I don't know. As long as it's not the Yankees, I think we're cool.
Yeah, as long as the Yankees are bottom, we're good.
Well, we'll have to see what the outcome is. When I put together this video and post, we'll know the outcome of those games, or that game. That being said, and again, in the spirit of time, because we spend so much time on football, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up with the outlook of hockey as the hockey season officially begins tonight, as this podcast is being recorded. So, Cameron,
Yeah.
Yep.
take it away, man.
And all right. Well, as we speak, Tampa is 4-3 right now against the Nashville.
And is that an expected score for you, or do you think Tampa should be doing better? Like, how do we feel about that?
I thought Tampa would be a little bit better on defense, just because of the juggernauts that they have on defense. But apparently not, as Nashville has already 3 goals on them. And we also have a very important game at 8 o'clock today, as we get to see Connor Bedard play. I know that Dinger here is very happy to see that.
Yeah, he's on my fantasy team.
But I think this week will probably be the hardest week for him because he's going against probably the top teams this week. I believe so, because he goes against the Penguins and the Bruins tomorrow, so back-to-back games. And he goes against Canadians. But yeah. We also have for this year the expected milestones, which you got Anze Kopitar, who's going to reach 400. Austin Matthews is going to try and reach his 300th goal, literally maybe game 1, because he's only 1 goal away. You got Nikita Kucherov going for 300, TJ Oshie, and then hopefully this year we can see Alexander Ovechkin get even closer to Wayne Gretzky's record, which I hope they get tickets to, because that would be the most amazing record to see. But pretty much it's just riding out how to really see where it's going to go.
Yep. Hopefully the Flyers are good. But
Yeah.
Now, who else plays tonight? I know Vegas plays tonight.
It's only I think 3 games that only played tonight. I think it's Tampa versus Nashville, and then it is Blackhawks versus Penguins, and then the Krakens versus the Golden Knights.
And how do those matchups look? I know they're playing Tampa. Tampa's playing right now, but how do the other two matchups stack up? What are we thinking? Who's going to win? What does it look like?
In all honesty, probably the Penguins versus Chicago Blackhawks is probably going to be 50-50 because you got young kids playing against an old horse. So it could be anyone's game at that point. And then probably the Golden Knights will try to cap off their first win and try to get their momentum going.
Now that the Vegas Knights win last year, they won the
Yeah.
Stanley Cup, didn't they?
Yeah, they won it all.
Yeah, they
Badly,
had the halftime show for the Raiders. The Vegas Knights Stanley Cup was there, and they were showing it off and all that stuff. I know you didn't watch it, but I did watch it.
Yeah.
So they were all excited about that.
I mean, I would too, man. That team's
buddy
new.
Rob was there.
How old's that team?
Aren't they only a few years old?
Yeah.
Yeah, that new expansive team.
Yeah. How like what? 4 years? 5 years?
I can look it up.
Because I know they won their first year in the league, I think.
It was like the worst nightmare for me for the Sharks.
That being said, I'm not too knowledgeable in hockey in general, but so they obviously just did an expansion team. How many teams were added in the expansion?
So far now, only so when the Vegas Golden Knights came, it was 2017, but it was only one team. I think for now they are expanding it to just having one team every couple of years. Like the Krakens are like the newest team, which I think was last year they were added.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because I
Was
don't
it?
recall ever hearing about the Krakens.
Yeah,
Yeah. Their jerseys are actually kind of cool looking.
Are they okay?
yeah.
That's the great part about
The Prodigy?
adding a lot of these hockey teams nowadays and adding new teams is that a lot of these teams in general, NFL, same concept, are so old and their design language is rooted in a fan base that you can't just change it. But if you introduce new
Yeah.
teams, I mean, you can have great concepts. Take a look at the Colts uniforms. Anytime they do new uniforms, it's the same freaking uniform no matter what. They do not change it. They will never change it. They don't do anything. But, you get somebody like the Rams who have moved recently, and the Chargers who again moved recently, and their powder blues are just great. I mean, beautiful.
I think what every sport should do is what the MLB is doing. They have a City Connect jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in. The NFL could use that as like a color rush thing or something. Like I want more creative designs for jerseys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because in the NFL, it's just so sad when people are just getting hype over throwback uniforms that existed for 40 years.
It's like the
Tampa Bay
1960s,
cream, cream uniforms and the Seahawks introductory 2002 uniforms or whatever they are, and I think it was 2002. It might be 90 something, 94. Either way, the throwback uniforms are getting hyped up, and it's just
Because we haven't seen them in so long, and it's like, wow, we got something new.
I know,
You know?
right?
Yeah.
But then you get
Well,
uniforms
for
like. Oh, go ahead.
I think hockey changes it every 4 years. So,
Right.
Yeah, I
but it's
want
like
more,
little stuff.
variety, man.
But teams should really do what the Bengals kind of did, and the Browns, or really the Bengals. Bengals are the one that have done it successfully with the whiteout.
Yeah,
know
but
it's
see, that
the
makes
Bengals.
sense for them, though.
Right. Kind of. I
Bengals-
mean, they have always been
Bengals,
orange and black.
Well, yeah, but a Bengal's white anyway.
Fair enough.
So,
Yeah.
it just made even more sense, which I love those jerseys. I want them to wear them more. But a City
also wish
Connect would
we-
be awesome.
Yeah. I would also like if they actually make it more like the genre of the city,
Yeah,
like
that's
for
what-
the Florida Panthers.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's what makes sense with the City Connect. I mean, Orioles are black and orange with a giant goofy bird on their hat, and their City Connect is just a bee with the Baltimore all over their
Yeah.
chest and stuff like that. I mean, it's different. It's way different from what they've ever had, really, and it's interesting. The other City Connects have been great too. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think Baltimore isn't strong, but it's not weak either. It's a good change.
No, because each jersey it represents that city, like basically perfect for the most part. Pittsburgh's a little bit weird. It's just yellow with PGH on it, but I mean it's Pittsburgh.
Right.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. The NFL should take that baseball approach because, again, baseball has also been around for hundreds of
Yeah.
years. Not exaggerating. I
Yes.
mean, literally hundreds of
Yeah,
years.
no, it's been forever.
So, I mean, and baseball still switches it up. I definitely think the NFL could and should benefit from that. I mean, Indiana
Yeah.
Knights, just for the record, we're having Indiana Knights this year for the Colts, have been the biggest change in uniform in 2 decades since Peyton was there. And all it is blue and black, navy blue and black instead of
Yeah,
navy blue and white. So, we're living.
I mean, hey, they need to also let them wear whatever cleats they want to, man.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
Like, what does a cleat have in design on it? What does it do for the, it doesn't do nothing. But I don't know. I think they should. The NFL should be more creative with things. But yeah,
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I understand why they do it because you don't really want to end up like the NBA, who I think definitely changes their uniforms too much. I would kind of hate that as an NBA fan or as an NFL fan if my Indianapolis Colts uniform was like just randomly red next week.
well, that's why like
Yeah.
the MLB has Nike chooses I think 8 teams or something like that every year, or
Yeah.
there's like a certain amount of teams that get selected for that jersey. So that's what they should
Yeah.
do. Like select certain teams, so it's not like all at once. Like, hey guys, here's all 32 teams. Get your jerseys. Like, no.
And I absolutely think that the NFL should allow their throwbacks to be used more often. It's just weird that they can only they have to put in for an alternative jersey and this and that. It's just
Yeah,
dumb.
and
I mean,
helmets and
Kelly Green is so iconic for the Eagles. It is, and honestly, I don't think anybody wouldn't be okay with Kelly Green coming back for like a full season. I mean,
yeah.
sure, the forest green is also very iconic now at this point, in my opinion. But Kelly Green, man, can't beat it.
No,
Sometimes.
I mean, well, hey man, we debut 2 weeks from now.
That's gonna be great.
Yeah, Sunday night I think against the Dolphins.
Yeah,
Rip.
yeah. It's gonna be Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Oh man.
Putting 100+ yard bets on both of them.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill's gonna hit his 2,000-yard marker that game. Gonna put up 1,000 yards versus the Eagles.
Yeah.
Ugh, gross. But anyway, that should be the end of our podcast now. We're running out of a bit of time. We're just trying to keep this short for the time being, but maybe later down the road as we get more topics and more sports to talk about, we'll definitely be making this longer. This will be on YouTube, and as time goes on, we'll also look into putting this on Spotify and other platforms. But thank you guys for tuning in. Do you two have any final remarks or final things to say before we close it out?
Go Phillies, baby.
Go Phillies.
All righty. We'll keep that indefinitely.